G'day beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I am still sick, so I apologize if it's annoying having to listen to this voice. I'm sure it's annoying having to listen to this voice anyway. But I wanted to take it easy today, and I was actually going to not make a video, but I can't bring myself to actually not make a video when I have the time to do so. So I thought we'll talk about the phase nerf and whether it is actually good enough. Now obviously the fact that I'm making this video means that I'm on the side of the nerf not being good enough. And there are a multitude of reasons as to why I actually think that is so. I know that there are people that think phase needed to be nerfed, there's people that think phase didn't need to be nerfed at all. And I know there's going to be people that agree completely 100% with the nerf, and people that don't think it was the correct nerf to be made, or that it wasn't quite strong enough. Now I don't think that the things that were changed were too weak. I just think that she wasn't changed in the way that she should have been changed. Just for the record, I'm generally the one in the group that defends phase. My teammates will, we're not going to say that they whinge, because they have the right to say the things they're saying. We'll constantly talk about how strong or overpowered phase is, and I'm normally the one that actually defends her, because I think it's actually good to have someone in the group that's defending in an argument, because we end up getting to a position where I've heard some things suggested that are much better than anything that has happened. Now I'm not saying also that the reduction of a blind time is not a good thing. That is very good. A second of her blind time is great, because a second in a MOBA when you're up against 5 heroes belting your head in is a lifetime, so that 1 second is going to be very, very handy. But I don't think it is going to achieve what needed to be achieved, which was to bring the other heroes in her particular role out of the off of the bench, if you will. So normally when they nerf someone, it's because they're not necessarily overpowered, but they're so much better than any other pick in that role that they see too much playtime. Now the issue they have with phase is that she actually has a 50 across bronze all the way up to master, or to diamond. She has a 50.3% pick rate, which might, to anyone that hasn't actually looked at all the numbers, might actually sound like it's not that bad. But the highest 5 pick rates in the game are phase at 50.3, Chimera at 43.1, Revenant at 40.4, Morigesh at 32.3, and Wukong at 34.5. So right there you have pretty much the same team that most people in the high elo brackets come up against constantly. That's pretty much all the team is. You might see Wukong sort of switched out a little bit, or Morigesh switched out, but it's pretty much phase, Chimera, Revenant, Wukong, and Morigesh, and it's no surprise there that phase, Morigesh, and Revenant were victims of the nerf, because they're played way too much. Now you can kind of make the argument that Wukong gets a lot of pick because he's a brand new hero, and then you can go and make the same argument with phase to say that she's only picked because she's new, but I don't actually think that's the case, because you still get offlaners and mid laners and carries fluctuating a little bit. You'll see different carries, mid laners and offlaners, but generally it's always a phase. Support, looking at the pick rates, if we were to class, or if we were to say that the supports are actually phase, Steel, Narbash, Deca, Muriel, and Richter, actually include Steel in that roster, Steel would be the next highest pick rate at 6.7% of matches. The next highest would be Deca at 5.3%. Keep in mind that Phase is at 50.3%. Then you would have Richter at 3.8%, Muriel at 3.3%, and Narbash is at 4.8%. And one thing that makes that sound even worse than it is to notice that Iggy, someone who I freaking love, that he's not shit, he just needs to be played well, but it seems to be the general consensus that no one should be picking him. That seems to be what happens when you highlight Iggy, is that people will just instantly tell you not to play them. But he actually has a higher pick rate than everyone other than Deca and Steel. So he has a higher pick rate than Richter, than Muriel and Narbash, which is just sad, considering that there is support and there is only a small number of them. Steel has a 45.9% win rate, Narbash has a 45.5%, Deca's is 44, Muriel's is 43, Richter's is 39.7, but then again he is a very, very hard hero to play. But then you have FaZe at a 54.5% win rate. And the reason why it's so high is probably just for the fact that there's always a FaZe in the game on both teams. So it's, it's going to be around about 50% anyway, isn't it? So I agree with the nerf to the blind. I think that's great. As I said, there doesn't seem to, like, the people that I know do whinge about the Psychic Flare duration, so I'm sure they're happy about that. But the other thing that people actually talk about, and they talk about more, is the healing that can be done with the telekinetic link, and the fact that there is there's kind of no consequence to quickly tethering someone and pulling them out of the fight. Some of the suggestions I've heard are just like, having a small cooldown after someone is initially tethered, so you can't just instantly yank someone out, or changing it to have sort of like a cooldown before any form of healing can be passed through, things of that nature. But instead they've reduced the cast range for telekinetic link, which is the range at which you can first link someone, by 100 units, which is not very much at all. And they've reduced the range at which the tether breaks from 2500 to 2200 units, which is still a fair amount. And they've gone and decreased the regen, the health regen that passes through when you are using abilities, by a good amount. At max level it's 20%, but then increase the duration that you receive that heal by double. So no matter how much they've actually nerfed the healing, they've actually increased the healing, and that was one of the issues that I know of people having, is the amount she's able to just burst heal, and they've made that even stronger. So personally, I don't think it's good enough. I don't think that anything that they have changed is going to kick her out of the limelight. We're not going to see Narbash make a resurgence, even though he's amazing and I love him and he has a great kit, even though his heals are just pretty much useless when compared to a FaZe. FaZe can out heal him by 100 times, it's just ridiculous. His stun is great, his speed boost is good, his ultimate is good when you can get it off at the right time. I mean, Deca is amazing with her wombo combos with the mid lane caster like Gideon or Howitzer or Gadget. Muriel can be great ulting out on a tank that's initiating a fight. Richter is, when played by a great Richter, is just amazing, and the plays that he can make are just great. But they're not going to get their time in the sun because FaZe is not going anywhere. No, I highly doubt that pick rates are going to change much at all, except for maybe some people wanting to play Wraith as a support for a while until he makes his transition to just playing offlane or mid lane, which I think might actually happen. But yeah, the moral of the story is, I don't think the nerf was strong enough. I didn't want them to necessarily touch a heal. I didn't want them to reduce the cast range or tether range on a telekinetic link. I think the best option would have been the cooldown after actually linking someone, or perhaps, even if not doing that, just actually nerfing the heal instead of making it stronger would be nice. Considering the fact that her heal was already 10 times better than the other healer in the game, and now it's twice as strong. But I would love to hear what you think about it. So if you have an opinion in any way, shape or form, please leave it down in the comments section. And be nice to each other, because there's going to be people on both sides of the fence. So I'm just interested to hear your opinions. I apologize for the sick monotone voice that you're listening to. I know I sound pretty depressed and ill, so if you made it to this part of the video, thank you so much for watching. I love your face. If you enjoyed this video in any way, shape or form, please smash the like button, leave me a comment as I said, and let me know what you think, and subscribe if you're not already, guys. But with that said, thank you so much for watching. I love your face, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.